I got motion. I got unspoken riz. Who got some motion? I don't hear y'all. Who got some motion? Who got some unspoken riz? All right, y'all with me, y'all with me, y'all with me. What's up, y'all? We at Kingwood Park High School. Shout out to my man Gino on the film. Shout out to Lydia Simone. And we are here to inspire the young people. I'm here to give a talk today at around 2:30 p.m. And this is a perfect example of why you gotta just keep walking in your purpose, keep operating in your gift, because when you do that, opportunities come for you. I didn't even know about this opportunity until Monday, 2 days ago. But guess what? When you're consistent with what you're supposed to be doing, you become known for what you do, and then people talk about you in rooms that you're not even in. And that's why I'm here today. So I look forward to encouraging the students, and I'm sure this video is gonna bless y'all too. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Good, good. I'm glad to be here. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hello, hello, I can see you trying. On the outside you living, on the inside you dying. You crying, the ones you love try to console you, but thoughts of suicide and death seem to control you. But don't hold on to the way that you perceive yourself. People love you, but you gotta believe yourself. You have to realize you exacerbate your pain every time you slit your wrist and lacerate your veins. But there's still beauty when the ashes remain. You'll rise like a phoenix when it manifests its change. Just like you, I used to go to sleep wishing it would end. But as I stand today, I'm as woke as I've ever been. That boy got bars, right? That boy got bars, right? All right, so I never actually attempted suicide, but there was a time in my life where I didn't want to wake up. I used to go to sleep and I would pray, just God, let me not wake up. So I don't play about mental health. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I know we got cool shoes and we look good and we got our hair done and we got the baby hairs laid and all of that, but there may be somebody in here dealing with that. And I just wanted you to know about that resource. You can text or call 988 to get help if you having any thoughts, if you dealing with that, if you know a friend. I just wanted to break the stigma on that because we think mental health, it makes us weak, but we all go through it, right? I've been through it and I've overcome it, and that's one of the things that I'm gonna talk about today. I'm talking about overcoming obstacles. So if that's you, you don't gotta say it, or if you wanna take a picture of it, you wanna share it, we wanna help our friends out, we wanna help each other out and take care of our mental health. Being a person that dealt with that, I believe my purpose is to be a voice for people who don't feel like they matter. Because at one point in my life, I didn't think my life mattered. At one point in my life, I thought I wasn't talented. I thought I didn't have a gift. I just would be like, what is the point of all of this? Why am I alive? What's the point of just waking up, going to sleep? I was going through it, right? These are some lyrics that embody how I feel about me doing what I'm doing right now, speaking. It says, this song is dedicated to people like me, those that struggle with insecurities, acceptance, and even self-esteem, because I've struggled with all of those things. You never felt good enough. You never felt pretty enough. You never felt like you could fit in. All of those things, those are different things that I've struggled with myself. And that's what my purpose is, to help people. One thing that I do in my class is we do affirmations to start. So before I even get into my message, I want y'all to give me some energy back and do these affirmations. So I'm gonna say it and then y'all gonna repeat after me. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Y'all with me? All right. I'm confident. I'm powerful. I use obstacles to motivate me to learn and grow. I'm freeing myself from all destructive doubt and fear. I got motion. I got unspoken riz. Who got some motion? I don't hear y'all. Who got some motion? Who got some unspoken riz? All right, y'all with me, y'all with me, y'all with me. All right, I'm gonna tell you a few things about myself. I'm a proud graduate of Atascocita High School, class of 2011. I know they the rivals. That's me walking across the stage when I was 18. That's my sister and my brother. All right, today is about overcoming obstacles. Everybody say overcoming obstacles. So I'm going to share 3 things that I had to overcome in my life and some things that I did to overcome them. All right, 3 obstacles and 3 actions that I took. All right, I want you to raise your hand if you have a mother or some adult woman in your life that means something to you, that's been a mentor, that takes care of you, that means a lot to you. Raise your hand if you have some woman that's an adult that you care about. All right, good, good. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something, but only if it applies to you. Don't feel any pressure. If it doesn't apply to you, then I don't want you to do it. All right? I want you to stand up if the person that you thought about, think about that person. If their life was in danger, I want you to stand up if you would do anything you could to keep them from losing their life. All right. Give everybody a hand and you can have a seat. Give everybody a hand. Give everybody a hand. Good, good, good. This reminds me of a story, right? This reminds me of a story. So, for one 6th grade student, this was not some hypothetical question. This was their reality. They woke up one morning and they heard this eerie noise coming from their parents' bedroom. And they saw their father attacking their mother and driving her head into the ground repeatedly as she screamed for help. The boy walked into the room. His father told him to go back into his room. He pleaded with his father, "What are you doing, man? Stop. Why are you hurting Mom? What are you doing?" He told him to go in his room. The little boy ran in his room. He started crying. He started praying. He didn't know what to do. Then he thought, you know what? I'm going to get the house phone. I know y'all don't know what a house phone is, but it's what we had before cell phones. He got the house phone. Only thing wrong was the batteries got knocked out. He couldn't call for help. He went back in his room. He's crying. He doesn't know what to do. Then he thinks, you know what? If I don't do something, my mom could lose her life. So he made a choice. Even though he was scared, even though he was shaking, he ran out the front door of his house. Luckily, his grandparents lived right next door. He knocked on the door. His heart was beating out of his chest. His grandmother answers the door. They run back. They get help. The neighbor comes. Eventually, the situation is taken care of, but it was printed in the newspaper. Well, that 6th grader was me when I was 11 years old. Because September 3rd is the worst day of my life, and it's no day even close, because that was the day that my dad had a manic episode. As we've been talking about mental health this month, he has bipolar, and he had an episode in which he attacked my mom, and he left the house in handcuffs. And I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget what was on the TV. I remember the color of his shirt. I remember everything about that day. And after that day, and I just want to say that my dad isn't a bad person. He just had mental health. He just had something he was dealing with. My parents are, in fact, still together. And my mom did not die, but she was injured very badly. And that was one of the times we realized my dad really needed to get help, and we got him help. And that's why mental health is so important. And that's why it's so important how we treat each other, because you never know what somebody, even though they're smiling, even though they might got motion, even though they might have the next Jordans on, you don't know what they got to deal with at home. And so for me, school was my safe place. So as a teacher, I'm a teacher too. I don't play about that, because you never know. I might be the kid in the classroom that you're dealing with, right? And so that day caused me to deal with a lot of things. Fear. Fear was the first, and that's an ugly picture of me before I had motion, before I had Riz. Every time I show it, people laugh at it, and I'm cool with that, because dang, you was down bad, bro, right? I'm not gonna even talk about what I was wearing. The whole thing is terrible, but it makes me smile, because that gives me hope that that was who I used to be, but that's not who I am. But I was dealing with fear, and fear is false evidence appearing real, because after that day, these are some of the things that I began to deal with. After that day, I had PTSD. Raise your hand if you've heard of PTSD. And see, the connotation of it is we think it's only, and it's fitting that I didn't even notice that y'all talked to armed forces before me. We think only armed forces can have PTSD. All trauma is unprocessed emotion. Repeat after me. Trauma is unprocessed emotion. So when somebody says something is traumatic to you, that means you experienced the deep emotion and you never processed it. So it's just sitting there. And that's why some people, they can just be calm and then they just go off about something because something you said triggered trauma in them and unprocessed emotion. And so I had all this trauma because after that happened, I said, it's this thing that says, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, all of that. I was like, I'm not going to let him do that again because not long after that, my mom healed up and we just moved back in. I didn't get any therapy. Nobody asked my opinion. Was I ready? And so I was living in fear every day. I was sleeping 3 hours a night. I would just stay up until my body made me go to sleep because I was so terrified of it happening again. I developed social anxiety. So like say if the door is right here, but it was a group of people, I would just walk all the way around to avoid people because I was just so afraid. I lived every day of my life in fear. I didn't want to take any risk. I had insomnia and I didn't have confidence. And you can literally look at that picture and see all of that on me. So the first thing the obstacle that I had to face in my life was fear. Fear was the lens I filtered everything through. Everything that I thought about in my life was filtered through fear. False evidence appearing real. Will Smith, now I know he's been through a rough patch, but he still has some good quotes. He's still a good brother. He said, fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination. Everybody say imagination. Causing us to fear things that do not at present may not ever exist. Okay? That is near insanity. Do not misunderstand me. Everybody say danger is very real. Danger is very real. But fear is a choice. You know how many nights I stayed up and I was not getting sleep for school, going off 1, 2, and 3 hours of sleep because I was scared that it was going to happen again. And I'm not going to lie to you. He did have some similar episodes, not as bad as that one, but he did have some more manic episodes. But you know how few times it actually happened? So that means I wasted a bunch of what? Time, and I wasted a bunch of what? Energy on something that what? That wasn't even going to happen. 90 to 99% of your fears will never come true. 90 to 99% of the things that you worry about are never going to happen. But guess what? Just like y'all learn about compounding interest, all that time you're investing into worrying is just compound interest of wasted time. You could have been working out during that time. You could have been sleeping during that time. You could have been doing anything that's important to you, but you were wasting it thinking about a situation that may not ever happen. Pop quiz, what does fear mean? Oh my gosh. All right, let's try it again. Pop quiz, what does fear mean? Give me a little more energy, y'all. Come on, what is it? Danger is real, but fear is a choice because fear is just when we imagine it. All you got to do is flip fear on its head, and instead of using your imagination for what could go wrong, what if I really do have unspoken risk? I apply to that college and I actually get in. What if I take a chance and it actually works out? You're already imagining things. Why not imagine things that are going to benefit you instead of imagining things that aren't going to benefit you? It's the same amount of time. It's the same amount of energy, but only one of them is going to benefit you. How do we combat fear? What I had to do was I had to run towards what I was afraid of. I had to put myself in social situations. How can that guy that you saw on that picture stand in front of people now? When some people that have social anxiety like me, the only way to overcome it is to put yourself. Now, if you've been that scared, you don't jump all the way. If you're not good at a game, you don't go to all mad and you don't go to the hardest level. You start at where you at, right? I had to slowly take risks. For me, I used to literally walk around like this, like looking at my shoes. I'm surprised I don't have neck problems. I had to just work on speaking to people. Just saying good morning at that time in my life was scary, let alone speaking to all of you today. I had to take small incremental steps to run into the direction of what I was afraid of. That's fear. Bravery is not the lack of fear. Bravery is the willingness to face it. Repeat after me. The best things in life are on the other side of fear. Your dreams are on the other side of fear. The future spouse that you want is on the other side of fear. The job and the career that you want is on the other side of fear. All of the greatest things in your life are on the other side of fear. Don't count yourself out applying for a college. Let them tell you no. And just because they tell you no the first time, don't give up. Don't count yourself out on trying out for the team. Keep trying out. Don't count yourself out. Go give it a shot, because you never know how things are going to work out. You are missing out on so much in life if you make all of your decisions in fear, and if you think what could go wrong before you think of what could go right. They exist. Just facing your fears is just saying that they're there. I like to say, don't just face your fears, deface your fears. What does deface mean? Vandalize, destroy, demolish. I don't want you to just face your fears. I want you to destroy them to where they don't hold you back anymore, because this is my purpose in life. But if I continue to let that anxiety, if I continue to let that fear, if I continue to let all of those things that I was dealing with stop me, I wouldn't be here today. And guess what? I'm going to help at least one person here today, because I wrote a book, and I wrote that book because somebody else wrote a book, and I got in contact with them, and they inspired me, and that led me to doing this. And I'm here with so many of you. So if you can't do it for yourself, think about all the people that need you to be who you really are. One of my favorite authors, Rachel B. Foy, says, someone is waiting on you to operate in their gift so they can operate in theirs. Some of you are going to be future teachers, future coaches, future doctors. And if you let fear stop you, it literally could be someone's life on the line. If you let fear stop you, it could cost us the next generation. If you let fear stop you, the future of our world is at stake with how you deal with your fear and how you deal with your doubt and how you deal with your purpose. We need you. Raise your hand if you're going to college. Good, good. Let's clap it up. Let's give it up for him. Let's give it up for him. Okay, so I'm going to count to 3. And at 3, I want you to scream really loud, even if you haven't. On 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. I heard a few of them, but that's cool. All right. That's cool. So I went to college too. I was so determined that I was not going to go home, because I heard story after story about how people would go to college, start partying, do all of that, and not come back home the first semester. So I want y'all to take a guess. What do you think my first semester GPA was? 4.2? Okay, y'all think I'm smart. All right. Huh? 2.5? Who said that? Oh, that's messed up. I'm just playing. All right, so this is what it was. My first GPA was a 3.46. I appreciate it, but there's another life lesson here. Don't clap for me, because that wasn't my best. I got a C, because I had a professor that was actually challenging me to where I was really going to have to put effort, and I wasn't used to asking that of myself. So as good as that wasn't my best. And that's why that's why I take social media breaks sometimes. We can't keep comparing ourselves to other people. Because guess what? Life isn't fair. We all don't start this race at the same level. Some of us don't start with 2 parents. Some of us are adopted. Some of us, our parents died when we were young. Some of us just lost somebody. We all have different obstacles. Why am I going to compare you when I don't know what you did and what you went through to get what you got? See, some people look at me where I am today and they may say good things, but are you willing to go through the pain that I had to go through to develop myself into this person? Some people did things legally, people did things illegally. Some people made sacrifices that you may not be willing to make. So why would we be jealous of people when we don't know, we might not want to pay the cost that they paid to get where they are? It's this one rapper from Houston that says you got to pay the cost to be the boss. Some of us don't want to pay that cost. So we shouldn't allow ourselves to be jealous. We are the only person that you're competing against is yourself. Everybody repeat after me. I am my only competition. Because if you're getting better every day, eventually getting better than the people around you is going to take care of itself. You are only here to be a better version of the person you were yesterday. And I know that at that time I had no study habits? Raise your hand if you're an avid. All right, guys, the strategies that you're learning in avid will make a difference in your whole life. This isn't just about class. Being organized, having reading skills is about life. Some people say, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. All right. Do you understand money? Do you understand how to read graphs? Do you understand metrics? Because you need to know all that to be successful in that. People say they want to be a singer or rapper. I'm not that teacher that says, oh, you want to be an NBA player? You know only 1 in 3 million or whatever. I say, are you putting in that work? Are you going above and beyond what the coach asks you? Are you prepared for your opportunity? Do you know what NCAA clearinghouse is? I'm just going to challenge you, are you prepared? I'm never going to stop people from dreaming, but a lot of us, we're not prepared, we're not putting in the work, but I knew this wasn't my best. Now, I want y'all to guess, what do you think my second semester GPA was? 1.0. I had 1 withdrawal, I had 3 Fs, but I had 1A. I had 1A. Now, please, it would make me so happy if at least one, but really excited if everybody in here learned from this. Number 1, college is not any harder than high school. In fact, it's easier. The problem is the educational system does a terrible job of the transition. We go from you having to ask to go to the restroom to being able to take out thousands of dollars in loans. I don't think that's a good transition. They should give you guys more freedom and responsibility in high school so you're prepared. You know what the hardest part about college is? Managing your time when you have all the freedom and you have nobody calling you, waking you up. You have no bells. If you don't come to class, you don't come. If you miss classes, you pay for a class and then you have to take it again. It messes up your GPA. And a lot of times we're not giving y'all their responsibility in the weight of your decisions now. So a lot of people go there, oh, mom isn't here to make me go to class. My teacher isn't chasing me down the hallway telling me I'm just not gonna go over somebody's head. The safe choice is the most dangerous choice because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to live with it. I read this book and it said, make decisions as if your dad is dead. Don't take it the wrong way, but think about it this way. If you're only doing it because your parents or somebody else says, what happens if at some point they leave? Are you still going to be happy with that choice? Are you still going to be happy with their life? You have to decide what it is that you're gifted at, what your purpose is, and go after that, because there's a book that says work hard at what comes easy. I believe all of us are gifted in a certain way, and if we work hard at what comes easy, the path is going to be a lot easier. If you're only being an engineering major because you think you're going to get paid a lot, but you hate all the classes that it takes to do it, you're not going to be successful, not because you're not smart enough, because you're not going to have the passion to push through, because motivation is overrated. Discipline will take you places that motivation can't take you. And so I just stopped going to class. I wish I had crazy stories about going to crazy parties or I wasn't doing nothing crazy. I just stopped going to class. And that's what happened. But luckily, because I took, who's in dual credit? I took dual credit, so I had a good GPA and then I had a first semester. Even with all of those Fs, I still had a 2.3. That's why dual credit matters. You are starting your college GPA now. So you don't want to mess that up. You want to take advantage of that. I was on track to graduate college in 2 years. My younger sister learned from me to position yourself and change the whole direction of your family tree. There's one person that comes along and changes the whole direction of their family. You can be that person if you stay focused. Atomic Habits. If you've never read the book, at least get Audible, listen to it. This book changed my life. And one of the things he says is, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Having a binder is a system. Having a consistent time that you study is a system. Putting your phone on do not disturb mode while you're doing something is a system. Going to bed at the same time at night, getting up at the same time is a system. Knowing, having a place for everything is a system. Even on a relational level, knowing the levels of your friends is a system. You have a friend that you really can trust and confide in, and then you have people that you meet because you're on teams and you just like to do things with. But if you trust a friend on a deeper level that's really just an acquaintance, that's how people get hurt. Having a place for everything, from relationships to how you study to how you organize your life, is systems. And systems are what lead to success. Who thinks they can be whatever they want to be? Raise your hand. Good job. All of you are wrong. You can be what you prepare to be. You think people want to make 3 Fs in college? Like I did, I'm talking about myself. You think people want to withdraw their second semester? We all want things, but you don't get what you want, you get what you prepare for. You don't control your future, your habits do. Everybody say that. I don't control my future, my habits do. In the words of my cousin, Steve Lacy, some of y'all got bad habits. I'm just playing, he's not my cousin. I don't know, he might be. Bad habits lead to a bad future. I know some of you are brainiacs. You just wake up out of the bed, ball that paper up, go get an A. It's going to catch up to you. How do I know? It caught up to me. My whole life, I made honor roll. I did all of that. I got $25,000 in scholarships my senior year. No study system, no avid bonder, none of that. And then I got to college and had more freedom. I didn't realize school was a system. Having classes at certain times was a system. Teachers making me do certain things was a system. And I lost the little bit of structure I had and I fell apart. The decisions you make now affect the next 5 years of your life. We're born looking like our dad. We die looking like our decisions. We're born looking like our dad. We die looking like our decisions. And so my first obstacle was fear. My second obstacle was failure. How did I deal with that? I had to learn to embrace failure. Everybody repeat after me. Failure is not final. Failure is not fatal. Failure fuels me. Guys, and to say this with me, fail faster, succeed sooner. I'm going to say it one more time. Fail faster, succeed sooner. You are so many failures away from success. And the only reason you're not at this level that you want to be at because you're afraid to fail. We get the model wrong. I have a son that's like about to be 2 on June 14th. And what I do with him is anytime he does something that I want him to do, I celebrate him to the point that he'll do things and start clapping for himself. And I realized that I can get him to do more of the things that I want him to do by congratulating him for doing the right thing than yelling at him for doing the wrong thing. And some of us have a messed up self-talk with ourselves. We never focus on what we're doing right, and we're so afraid of making mistakes. But that's how everybody in here learned how to walk. You fail, you fail, you fail. But somebody around you was clapping you, cheering you on, telling you you can do it, telling you to get up and try again. But for some reason, once we get to like 5, we stop doing that with people. And we just start telling people everything that they did wrong, and we just start telling people everything they're not. And you got to be there for yourself. Even if you say, I have a messed up home, or none of my teachers like me, or whatever, you can be your own source of self-love. You can be your own cheerleader. You can be your own coach. You got to not be afraid to failure, because failure is the key to success, because failure is just data to improve yourself. Failure is only bad if you keep making the same mistake and you don't reflect on what was going on. That's why it's so important when your teachers say, okay, we're doing a group assignment and then we're going to reflect. Some of us, we just cut corners and just write anything on there. That's teaching you a skill of self-reflection. Because people who are self-aware are successful in marriages, are successful in friendships, are successful in life. Because if you have the ability to assess your own mistakes before somebody else has to tell you about them, you're ahead of most people in the world. Fail faster, succeed sooner. Embrace failure. Failure is your friend. Everybody say, failure is my friend. Because it's the key to you getting where you want to be. So, fear. False evidence appearing real, failure, and finally, fitting in. Fitting in was a problem for me because I never felt like I had a certain place that I belong. Too much of this for this group of people, not enough of this for that group of people. And there's this thing called code switching, and what it means is every time we're in a different environment, we might change the way that we talk, and we might change the way that we act based on who we're around. And there is some level of truth to this, because if you're around certain friends, they bring out a certain side of you. But at the end of the day, the core of who you are shouldn't change that much. And so I struggle with this because it was always me looking for somebody else to validate me, looking for somebody else to accept me. But I had to learn to embrace everything that I didn't like about myself and put it into 2 categories. My height, I can't control that. Everybody, you're as tall as you're going to be once you stop growing. You know, the fact that I'm African American, it's only so many things that I can change about myself. So what's that serenity prayer? Let me accept the things that I can't change and change the things I can't accept. Everything falls into two categories. There are certain things that you're complaining about that you can change. If you say, I want to be stronger, you can go to the gym. If you say, I don't like my grades, you can go to tutorials. But I can't change the parents that I have. I can't change the family that I was born into. I can't change certain things. And so you have to learn to embrace the things that you don't like about yourself, know which category they fit in, and change the things that you can change. Y'all, I'm at a loss for words about today. I didn't know about this opportunity until around this time on Monday. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. I was just trusting God to know the words to say. And I talked about mental health. I talked about suicide. I talked about all these things. And there were kids that came down that were literally dealing with the same exact things. I talked about in college how my GPA was a 1.0 at one time. There was a kid here who started his high school career with a 1.0. Like, you can't make anything like this up. So I'm just so excited about the journey that I'm on. I'm excited about, shout out to Gino, Impress Media, for helping make my dream come true. Shout out to Lydia Simone for supporting me as well. I know that we helped touch some lives here today, and it was more than just a speech. Like, people's lives were changed and touched. So y'all stay tuned in. God bless y'all. What's up? It's your new favorite author, DeAndre Lacy. And I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your day and watching this video. If you haven't already, do me a huge favor and go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. See you next time.